What's up guys, VELCROFPV here, and today we are gonna go over what my tiny whoop setup is. For the most part, I already built it. So basically I'm just refreshing it. I'm throwing new frame, new motors, new canopy. So yeah man, let's get started. We can start off by this cockroach frame. This is, I guess, the Ghost edition. It's like a white pearl. There you go. It's a pretty freaking awesome frame. So I decided to go with the whole Ghost theme. So basically white everything. We have the same canopy. And I threw a little alien whoop sticker on it, which is awesome. We have our standard hardware and mounts right here for the flight controller. I'm throwing in some awesome sauce motors, which are my new favorite motors. These are the motors I was using at the Tiny Whoop Invitational 2018. And right here we have basically a LED harness. Let me see if I could get it. There you go. So the lights on here are pink. Pretty awesome. Moving on. Okay, so since I use the Turnigy Evolution, basically I have I forgot what the name of this receiver is. It's one of the micros for the Fly Sky radio, and I could get pretty damn far with this thing. This is Alien Whoop F4 flight controller. I've been running this since December, and I have not looked back since. Like this little guy over here, this is a Beta FPV board I have in here, and it flies awesome, but not as good as this guy. And as far as my camera, I have a, what is it? It's a Crazy Pony lens. Basically, this camera, you can get it from Amazon. It's $20. It already comes split. So what I did was, when I got to the Tiny Whoop headquarters, since I was running a dipole and we needed a circular polarized, I got a VTX from the, I'll tell you right now, I always forget the name of this camera, from the FX 805. So it's kind of my go-to setup for this swoop. So super clear image from this lens. I mean, honestly, I haven't found another one that is as clear as this guy is. And yeah, standard, you know, VTX, all channels. And then you have a Tiny Whoop mount right here, and I hot glued it down here for extra support, so that's not going anywhere. But yeah, let's get started on my build. A lot of people always usually ask what is the front of this frame. I mean, I usually go by that little curve right there. To me, this is the front, so I usually build facing this way. So we'll go ahead and install a grommet right there, right here, and right here. I don't use a back grommet. What I do is, I mean, my board usually levels out at an angle like this. So what I do is I place it flat and then I calibrate it on Betaflight, and that's the end of that. So since we got these little grommets in here, and this is already all soldered up, the good thing about these boards, for example, is if you have whatever radio you have, you get a micro receiver for it and you can solder it. It has a open UART with 3.3 volt and a ground and a RX, and you're good to go. Okay, so what I do is I usually flip this and I have it right under here. Let's see if we can get it a different way. Where's the button? Alright, with the button facing down, this little antenna facing back. I don't put double-sided tape or any of that because it's pressed against the frame and it usually comes out pretty good. So what I do is I do feed this cable, the PH 2.0, through that little crack in there, right here. And basically that allows the pigtail to not be in the way, so you gotta kind of force it. Let's see if we can get it. There you go. So you forced it, you push it through. See the rotation, and make sure you put it on the right side, because I've sometimes put it on this side and it's kind of a pain to get out sometimes. And so let's push this in here, make sure that the receiver is in its proper location. I usually, once I put that in, I'll start off with the front grommet to hold the receiver in, and then I'll work my way with one, flip it, make sure the receiver's not in the way, which it is. So grab some tweezers and push it forward a little bit. There you go. Well, okay. There you go. And then 3 grommets. And we are in. See, and that's pretty much it. So then now, let me see. Just make sure it's pushed in right. This board, you know, since this is the hand-built ones that Charlie was making at that time, it's, I don't know, like maybe 0.5 millimeters wider on each end, so it kind of flexes the frame a little bit, but I'm used to that. It's no, I don't really worry about that. Okay, so now we add back the camera. Well, we should actually add the front screw. If this is actually a nice little pro tip I'll give you guys. These little screwdrivers that come in every single little God knows what, they're not magnetic, as you can see. It won't pick up the screw. What I do is I grab one of my old motors and I slap it on there, and boom. Come on, making me look bad. There you go. See, and it just sticks. So it's a lot easier to kind of just grip these little screws. So now we'll add the front screw. Okay, we're back, guys. These little fucking screws were kicking my butt, man. I just hate them. Sometimes they don't want to go in, especially on brand new frames. What a lot of people do is they screw them before they put the grommets and all that stuff, just to like kind of widen up and open the hole. But we got the stack in. Basically, my flight controller right under there. Right under that is the receiver, and on top, camera and VTX. So now we have to add these awesome motors. Literally awesome. But before that, since these are 6x17, the stator's a lot taller. All these frames, cockroach frames, they have this little tab right down there to stop the regular 6x15 millimeter motors. So we have to snip them. And since my cutters are nowhere to be found, I'm using a blade to cut them out. Okay guys, so we just finished cutting out all the little tabs that I told you guys about, and now these motors should fit right in. Let's let them go. So what I do is, these cables are actually a little longer than I think Jesse anticipated, but it would be nice for these to be just a little shorter because they're pretty freaking long. So what I do is I twist them. Twist them nice and tight as possible without breaking them. So there's one. Okay, so the way I position my motors, since I run reverse props, is basically counterclockwise would go here, these two, and clockwise would go here and here. So since this is a counterclockwise motor, no, this is actually let me see, I always get confused. Yeah, since this is a clockwise motor, this one would go here. For these really long cables, I have a little trick. I mean, it's not really a trick. With the Newbie Drone Gold motors, when I used to use them, they were short enough that I could wrap them around the motor once and connect them to the plug, and they'll be nice and snug. Like, do we have them? No, we have Awesomes on that one. But yeah, that's what I used to do. So you will need a few rubber bands. There you go, 4 little rubber bands. So what I do is I wrap it around the motor once, maybe twice if it reaches, but then you might cause breaking this cable. So I wrap it around once and add a little rubber band. Then we have a little slack, but we'll deal with that in a second. Okay, so we have some slack, as you guys can see. Let me fix this one. Okay, so we still have a little bit of slack. At this point, you could just tuck these cables into the frame wherever they fit. I usually put them right next to the duct. Okay, so we got all those nice and snug. Okay, so now we could slap, actually no, this is actually the next important step, these LED lights. So what we would have to do is move this VTX out of the way. Then right here we have a positive and a negative. So since this is like a cable harness that comes from TinyWhoop, you could go to their site and check it out. I'm actually gonna link description, in the description below. I'm gonna link everything that I use on this Whoop. Basically, this is my, I'm not gonna call it my signature Whoop, but it's what I use for all my Whoops. So this is new from TinyWhoop. It's a LED harness. You don't have to solder each individual LED anymore. Now they're all connected to one little capacitor that's in there, and then you got a positive and a negative, and it goes straight to power. Once you do that, you should have working LEDs. Let's try it out. So that's on. Give them a quick little tug. We should be good to go. So now we grab a battery as a tester, and we see if they turn on, and we see no white magic smoke. There you go. All LEDs are working. So now, basically what you do is, the way I do it is I move these LEDs out of the way, put my VTX back in. Okay, so now basically you want to run these to each individual duct. So the way to do that is, it's kind of like open up the harness a bit. Okay, these go back here since they're a little bit longer. These can go here to the front, and these go back here. So basically the correct way to do it is get some welder's glue. Grab a little bit of it, add it to each duct. I usually, if you see it's like a true X frame, you can kind of see the structure in the middle. I put a little tab of welder's glue here, 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 and here. So basically I like running them from here. A lot of people do them from this way, but I don't know, I like it from the sides. To me it just feels a little cleaner. So I'll be right back after I glue these back down. Okay guys, so we just finished installing the LEDs. As you can see, a little dab of welders on each end. And now that it's dry, see like these loose cables here, what you do is you kind of like, I kind of like pull them up, and like spin the thing to like tense it a bit on each side. So there's no like slack. And now we add the canopy. One's on. Oh my god. And now we throw some props, and just like that we got props on, guys. So yeah man, it actually came out a lot better than I anticipated. Really clean. If you guys have any questions on as far as PIDs and all that other stuff, you guys can just drop them down in the comments, and I'll try to get them out to you. I'll message them out to you privately. But yeah guys, here it is. This is what I guess my new standard is, you could sort of say. Yeah, I'm loving it. But yeah man, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have other questions besides PIDs and whatnot, drop them down in the comments. Remember to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.